at the borders. I was able to get in contact with him. I saw his video. I reached out to a gentleman in Red Deer who was a part of the first convoy that went out 2 years ago, and he got me in touch with Chris. And from there, we recognized what we were going to need to pull this off. Social media was a big concern, so I helped get the social media running. I started the GoFundMe page, and we've made a lot of connections, and we have just a massive team behind us now.
Wow. All right. So what exactly do you intend to do?
We are going to roll across Canada. They are going to go to Parliament Hill and protest, sit there and protest peacefully, of course, until these mandates are lifted.
Who
They're
is they? Who is they
the
exactly?
truckers. Sorry,
The
the
truckers. That's okay.
truckers.
No,
Yes.
who are these truckers? Who are they with? Can you tell me a little bit about them?
The truckers are people from all across Canada. We've got people coming from Vancouver. We've got people coming from the Maritimes, Quebec, Ontario. So what has happened is we've the Chris started it, of course, and other people have got involved, and they have networked and contacted the truckers all across the country. The last I heard today, when I talked to one of the other organizers, is he's expecting a minimum of 1,600 trucks.
Wow. So a convoy, a major convoy headed for Ottawa
Yes.
in the middle of winter.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So obviously these truckers feel very strongly about this. And their major issue is what exactly?
The major issue, of course, is the mandate that just came down on Saturday regarding them being required to have their vaccination passports in order to cross the border. A lot of these drivers do cross the border on a regular basis. And for example, my parents run a pilot truck business, and they're back and forth across the border all the time. And as of Saturday, they can't do that. So what this is going to do, number one, is very seriously and critically impact our supply chain, as you mentioned, groceries, goods, necessities, but it's also impacting their livelihoods.
What is a pilot truck?
They are the ones, when you see wide loads coming down the highway and there's a little truck in front with the lights on.
Okay, so these are like if they're moving houses. Okay, so these
Yes.
are the guys moving homes. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Wide load. Well, okay, so they're concerned with this, and so these are the people that you're talking to cross into the United States, correct?
Yes.
And so they will be prevented from crossing into America as a result of what? The fact that most of them, if not all of them, are not vaccinated with the COVID-19 vax.
There is a percentage that isn't. I think the last I heard on mainstream media was about 10%, which is a considerable amount.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. No, meaning that 90% of them are vaccinated on this side of the border.
Yes.
And so are all the people taking part in this, I want to call it a protest, are they all unvaccinated, or does this include drivers who are, okay, so these are drivers who are vaccinated, unvaccinated, they just feel that the government has no business forcing people to get the shots,
right.
correct? That's what their position
That's right.
is. All right.
That's right. That's why we named it the Freedom Convoy. It's not the convoy for the unvaccinated, it's the convoy for freedoms for everybody.
Okay, so it's and so when does it start? What's the timetable for these drivers heading for Ottawa?
They're leaving from the West Coast on the 23rd at 7 in the morning and coming across BC. They'll be then leaving from Calgary at 7 a.m. on Monday morning, and they'll be picking up drivers all along the way. So, for example, here in Medicine Hat, we have a staging point set up where truckers can join so that they can merge into the convoy along the number 1 highway. And they're going to be rolling right to Ottawa, arriving in Ottawa on the 28th.
Did they have to get permission to, my understanding is they usually have to ask for a permission to have protests, demonstrations. This is on Parliament Hill, correct?
Yes, it is. Yep.
So,
yep.
So it's going to be a surprise. Well, unless
yep.
they're listening to this show, so which they do. All right.
I'm pretty sure they know we're coming by now.
Yeah, I would think so. All right. So 1,600 uh, 18 wheelers, is
Yep.
vehicles
Yep.
headed for Ottawa. And once they are there, they're going to what? Park?
They are. They are going to park until all these mandates are lifted.
Wow. And they're just going to stay there.
Yes.
I mean, because obviously the police is going to be are going to be on hand. They're going to start levying fines. They're going to say, "Hey, you guys have no business doing this. You don't have permission to be here." So they're going to come. They're going to meet opposition when they get there.
They will. And, we're aware of that. We know what's going to happen, but we also know that something has to be done. I mean, we have um, a government that has been, for the last few years, trying to sabotage so many industries. And I work in oil and gas, right? The environment minister just came out and said they're going to phase that out within 18 months. 18 months. Like, and this is just another example of an industry that they're hitting. So basically, if I may be frank, we're not asking.
You're demanding. Yeah, they're coming after your industry, and a phase out in 18 months doesn't sound feasible. But they make these promises, they make these threats, and obviously this is a radical government in Ottawa. They have a radical agenda. They don't care about the misery that they're inflicting on Canadians. They don't care about putting businesses out of business, including people like yourself. It's just
Yeah.
not an issue for them. They've got this agenda, and meantime, they keep importing oil from the Gulf and other areas of the world. It's like, why don't we support our own people? Why don't we support Albertans? Why don't we support people from Saskatchewan? Any resource producing provinces? They don't seem to care about people in Alberta. They seem to care about appeasing their own radical base and pushing through this agenda of theirs. So, listen, I'm with you 100%. Okay, so all these people, they just gathered that quickly. I mean, you put this together in record time, didn't you?
Yeah, I got the Facebook page up on Friday evening at about 5 o'clock. And the last I checked today, we were over 16,000 followers. So the word is getting
Wow.
out. So being Facebook, we set it up knowing that at any time that could be pulled down.
Yeah,
So we have
exactly.
information posted to a website. We've got Signal channels set up, Telegram channels set up, Twitter set up, etc.
And you managed to raise a good chunk of change in a hurry.
We sure did. It was
You
pretty
want to talk about
overwhelming.
that?
Yeah, I set up the GoFundMe page so that we could start raising a little bit of money. I was thinking, we'd get a few $1,000s. However, within 24 hours, we had raised over $100,000.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is fantastic.
amazing. Yeah.
Well, you're going to need that money. I mean, it's going to because you're going to be hit with fines,
Yes.
and so these drivers, like, they're going to need places to stay. I mean, the logistics of doing something like this must
It's
be
massive.
causing
It's
causing you
massive.
some headaches. I mean, they're going to be. Are they going to sleep in the cab of their vehicles? These are. I take it that that option exists for many of these drivers.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, lots of them will be able to sleep right in their sleepers. I believe some of them have booked some rooms. I've seen online where other people that are joining, because this is for everyone. We have people that are going to be joining in their pickup trucks and their cars or personal vehicles and stuff also. So I've seen that they've booked rooms in advance. So yeah, the logistics of it is it's pretty overwhelming also.
Yeah, and I imagine you might pick up support over time because I would imagine there's a lot of drivers out there who have not heard about what you're doing. I mean, you only just got this started, and so
Hmm.
as word filters throughout the industry, then others are going to say, you know what, this is something that we need to do and get on board with this. And so, who knows? You've got 1,600 committed, but it's quite possible that this may spread. Correct?
Yes, 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 exactly.
What are you hearing from people? What are they saying to you? I mean, obviously, you've been speaking to some of the drivers.
I've been on the phone constantly for the last few days. I haven't slept. I haven't eaten. You can tell. Um, yeah, we have so much support. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I got off the phone today with a lady from the Northwest Territory. She's a clan mother up there.
A
She
what?
is
Sorry?
a clan mother.
A clan mother. Okay, so
Yes.
not a Ku Klux Klan mother, I
No,
should
no,
say.
no, 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 no. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite.
So I'm sorry.
So
Okay.
this actually made my whole day today. So she contacted me through one of the drivers that I've been talking to. She is contacting other tribes across Canada who are going to help us with fuel at their stations that are on their reserves, which will help us save a little bit of tax money. She is also in contact with chiefs, elders across the country. There's a lady that she knows in Ottawa that has a hotel that's willing to donate lodgings, sort of in like an adopt a trucker program. So this is bringing people together from all walks of life,
Hmm.
all races, all religions, and it is really heartwarming to see the Canadian spirit is alive and well.
The freedom spirit. And by the way,
Yes,
you are an Indigenous person, correct?
I am Métis. Yes,
You're Métis. Okay.
yes.
So that's normally a Manitoba-based group, is it not?
Yes.
Or Saskatchewan as well.
Yeah, Manitoba. I believe I was adopted. But I
Okay.
believe that my birth family originated from Manitoba also.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right. Well, it sounds it sounds fascinating. It sounds exciting. It sounds a little scary, but this is a case where Canadians are pushing back against something that they believe is grossly unfair. I mean, you certainly are not alone in being concerned with the actions of this government, the draconian, the ongoing mandates. It's had a devastating impact. It's interesting in the oil and gas sector, even as they attack the sector, prices of oil have been going up
Hmm.
lately. And so
Hmm.
it's quite possible that as a result of the rising oil prices, that Alberta, where you are, is bringing in even more money. Industries like your industry, your company is doing better as a result of higher oil prices. And so it's interesting that even as governments try to destroy the sector, it continues to thrive and do well.
Yes.
So but it's a battle, isn't it? I mean, many in your province are pushing towards independence as a result of what they're doing to the oil sector. Is there much
Yes.
support for Wexit these days where you are in Medicine Hat?
Honestly, I think a lot of the political stuff is sort of sort of stepping aside from this. It's become
Mm,
less of a priority. I mean, we've tried politics, we've tried, people have tried talking to the government or doing petitions or phoning their MPs, and nothing is changing. And it's really concerning when you see the prime minister of our country speaking about Canadians in such a derogatory and divisive manner,
yeah, yeah, I couldn't
right?
agree more. Absolutely. Attacking people who have chosen not to get the vax, for instance,
Yes,
as
exactly.
just throwing all sorts of names at them,
Mm.
misogynists and racists, and it's bizarre. But it's
Yeah.
discouraging. On the other hand, it has galvanized opposition to what they're doing, and so we're seeing that evidenced by the work that you are doing. So please stay in touch with us as this protest moves forward. When do you expect the drivers to be in Ottawa?
On the 28th of January.
The 28th of January. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's okay. Fair enough. And
Yeah.
so as this thing continues, let me know how you're doing and
Hmm.
check in. I'm sure our listeners will be very interested in hearing how this moves along. So thank you so much for coming on the show
I
tomorrow.
will. And thank you so much for having me, Marc.
Tamara Lich joining us from Medicine Hat, Alberta. Got to take a quick commercial break. Back with more on Newstalk Saga 960 and the Marc Patrone Show after this. Thank you.
Thank you.